Hello friends and welcome back. Today we are doing a fun pick a card tarot and oracle reading. I wanted to do something a little more fun this week. My past few videos, especially with the shadow work ones, have been a little heavy, and so I wanted to do something fun. And I was actually not sure what I wanted to do, but then I stumbled upon this picture on Facebook, and it says, "What if your fairy godmother is the wisest, smartest version of yourself, whispering from the future? Stop treating yourself as an afterthought. Eat delicious food, walk in the sunshine, jump in the ocean. Say the truth you are carrying in your heart like a hidden treasure. Be silly, be kind, be weird. There is no time for anything else." And I mean, just look at her. Isn't she just so gorgeous? I absolutely love that image. So I thought today's pick a card would be interesting to do a message from your fairy godmother, who is ultimately yourself. But I wanted to keep it, nice and light and kind of upbeat. This month has been, it's been hard for so many people. This year has been hard for so many people. And I've actually really been debating as to whether I've even wanted to post things like this. But then I was spurred on by people telling me that they needed that distraction. They needed that escape from what is going on. So that's my intention today. It is not to take away from what's going on. It is not to take away from the circumstances, but to give you a breather, in a sense, to give you hopefully optimism for the future. I do feel like we are changing globally in a very positive way, but sometimes to get to that positive outcome, you have to deal with some shit, and that's what we're facing right now. But anyways, let's get started. I have 3 piles here today. So this is pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. If you like to choose with crystals on your cards, we have this green calcite, which I'm going to put on pile 1. We have this rose quartz, which I'm going to put on pile 2. And we have this black tourmaline, which I'm going to put on pile 3. Listen to your intuition, to your gut, what's deep down inside of you as to which pile you want to choose. You can listen to multiple piles. You can listen to all 3 if you feel drawn to. This is a reading for the general collective conscious, so your message may be spread out through multiple piles, and not every message may resonate with you, and that's perfectly okay, whether it's not meant for you in the moment or just not meant for you. Take what resonates and leave the rest, okay? We all have a lot on our plates right now. I don't want you lingering over something I said today. This is meant for positivity and self-improvement, but not in the heavy shadow work kind of way. So anyways, let's get started. Let's move these crystals. Let's get started with pile 1. Oh, welcome, pile 1. I do want to take the opportunity to ask you to please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. I love being able to read for you guys. Okay, so we have the Star and 2 Knight cards, the Knight of Coins and the Knight of Cups. This is actually very, very rejuvenating energy. there's a lot of action here. But again, this is from your fairy godmother. This is you in the future. And I feel like this is your future energy. And so this is kind of like energy that you can be prepared for. But the main message I'm getting right now is to relax. Both, in terms of, say, your stress response, but also just allowing yourself to rest, to recuperate, to physically relax, whether this is, having a nice hot bath, whether it's going for a swim, whether it's sitting in front of the TV and vegging out, whatever you need to do to relax. I do feel like you need to take the time to let your physical body relax. There's, a lot of emphasis right now also on, self-love, self-care, taking care of your mental state. And yes, that is important. Yes, that is a big part of this. But a lot of this is, I'm just feeling like you just gotta, sometimes you just have to let your body just chill too, right? It's not about, just going for the next thing, the next physical goal, whether it's, gaining muscle, losing weight, gaining weight, whatever it might be. Whatever physical milestones you might be, perhaps you even have a goal to walk wherever, or run a marathon, whatever it might be. This is making sure that you are taking the time to rest and relax and let your body recuperate. That's the key word I was looking for, recuperate. Letting your body physically recuperate. On the star card here, we've got this beautiful dancer. And she has worked hard to get to where she is. Lots of practice, lots of blood, sweat, and tears have gone into what it has taken her to get to where she is now. But at the end of the day, she still has to go home and rest. She has to, soak her tired feet. She has to potentially, bandage her bloody palms. There is so much that you have to do to take care of yourself. And with these two Knight cards, I do feel a lot of juvenile energy with this. Juvenile, not necessarily like young, but more of a new beginning kind of juvenile energy, like new beginnings, being excited about it. You know how when you're a kid and you're just so excited for, say, Christmas morning, you can't sleep, you're giddy with excitement, that kind of juvenile energy. You're really excited for this next phase. And if you just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, you're going to burn out before you ever get there. Okay? So your message really is just not to push yourself beyond your limits. It's about trusting your body, listening to your body. Let's see. What else do we got here? Also stretching, like look at this pose that he's in. Like he's just taking time to stretch his body. If you're feeling tense, like you might even notice now as you're sitting there or standing or however you are choose to be positioned as you're watching this, you might notice that you're tense. Maybe you're holding your breath. Maybe your shoulders are up around your ears just because you're holding all that tension in your upper body and your shoulders, your neck. Just take time to breathe out and just let that tension release. It might not, release that second. You might have to work on it. Just like with every other moment in life, it's not about the goal happening right away. It's about the process. And so, relaxing your physical body after years of stress, it didn't take just one event for you to tense up your body and to feel tight and stressed. It took days, months, perhaps even years of tension, of stress. And so you're going to have to work on releasing that stress. Again, it's not something that's going to happen overnight. Just like this dancer, she didn't develop her skills in one time, one experience. It came after lots and lots of practice. Same thing. You can't expect to be good at self-care and at relaxing and just expect everything to, just flow away in one experience. It takes practice. It's like meditation is a practice. You don't just become really good at meditating. You can't just sit for hours and meditate your first time. You might get 30 seconds before your mind starts to wander. It's a practice. You have to keep doing it. You have to keep practicing that skill. Okay? And with this Knight of Coins, again, I'm feeling like very juvenile energy, but also with this card, a lot of responsibility. He's got his coin. He's got to manage, say, his finances. He's got to manage his home, his family life, his work life, all of that. It's about managing it, but it's still about finding that excitement and that exuberance for life. It's reconnecting with your why. Being passionate about why you're going for this dream. The star is a dream. It's something that's in your future. So with these two knights, it's like, why are you going for this? And what do you need to do in order to get there? But without neglecting your physical body or negating your physical needs along the way. Okay? Yeah. We have the card of chamomile, which is calm. Yeah. This is calming your body, calming your mind. When you can calm yourself, this person here, this Knight of Cups, almost looks like you could have almost been in a meditative pose as well. So it's finding this balance between this star energy. I mean, this dancer, she's up on stage. She is putting in all of this passion and energy and hard work into this. She's probably feeding off the energy of the crowd. But then when she gets off stage, she has to reconnect with that calm, with that sense of peace, with tranquility. Okay? You can go for your dreams, but you have to be able to balance. Okay? I feel like that's a very good message too, like just balance. When you're working really hard, just taking time to relax, but also, not overindulging in that relaxation. I'm not suggesting that you sit on the couch for the next week and just be completely stagnant. That might be what you need, but you do have to move your body, but it doesn't have to necessarily be, going for a 5-mile run. It could be getting out and going for a walk around the block just to stretch your limbs. Physical exertion, physical movement doesn't have to be stressful. It can be relaxing at the same time. Something like yoga might be helpful as well if you feel like you have to move your body, but you don't want to do something that's high energy, high impact. Yoga might be something that's really good for you. And it's also really good to connect the body, mind, and spirit all together at once. I find some of the best thoughts come to me when I am moving my body, but also being very calm at the same time, like going for a walk in nature or doing yoga. I find, the act of moving my body in that way, for me at least, is very calming, but it's very mentally stimulating at the same time. I feel like that would be a very good balance for you moving forward. Okay? Then your last card is the Moonology card of Believe in the Impossible. I think that is a wonderful card, not only for your reading, but just as a general message for what's going on in the world. We are seeing change on I'm going to step out on a limb and say on an unprecedented scale. There is a lot happening between the pandemic and the Black Lives Matter movement and all of this. Like, we are evolving and growing as human beings, and this star, this goal, this prize at the end may seem impossible right now, but believe in that impossible. Believe that you are worthy, that you are capable, that you can do it, that we can do it. Okay? So that is your message from your fairy godmother. Just take time to exist in a state of physical balance, making sure that you are balancing moments of high energy with moments of relaxation, making sure you are taking time to listen to yourself, listen to your body. I know for a lot of us, especially with quarantine and social isolation, we spent a lot of time in our homes. We spent a lot of time not moving our body. So this, this might even be the opposite for some of you. It might be getting back into the habit of moving your body, but not rushing it. Take it slow. Do what feels right to you, and what feels right to you might change day to day. If you have an active day one day, then you're feeling a little tired, a little sore, be respectful of your body, okay? Do what you love to do, but also remember what feels good and remember why you're doing it, okay? So that is your message if you picked pile number 1 for this message from your fairy godmother. If you enjoyed this reading, please hit that subscribe button. I do pick cards every single Monday. Love, light, and happiness to all of you. Have a fantastic day. Bye. Hello to all of you who picked pile number 2. I'm so excited for this reading today, and I want to, before we get started, just ask you to please hit that subscribe button if you like pick a card readings. I post them every single Monday. So your tarot cards are the 4 of Coins, the Chariot, and Justice. First of all, the imagery on this Chariot card, the stark contrast between black and white, but then the merging and melding together in the middle. I feel like this is so powerful for what's going on. The Chariot can speak of barriers between two opposing extremes, light, dark, positive, negative, white, black, whatever the extreme may be, light and day even. But it is about taking action. The Chariot is about taking action and moving forward to blur those lines, to exist in the state of movement and action between the extremes. It's like even the extreme of stagnation and reaching your goal, right? It seems like there's a fine line, but really in between those two things is a lot of action, a lot of determination, a lot of hard work, a lot of passion, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of love, a lot of joy, a lot of happiness. There is so much between where we are now and where we want to go. And how are we going to fill in that in between? With the Justice card here, the Justice card is about fairness. It's about logic, being objective to the circumstances, combining it with the Chariot. I feel like this is really speaking about harnessing the forces around you, harnessing the the world, the universe, the people around you, the things around you, and really going for your dreams. And I know I'm really focusing on this right now, and I'm sure a lot of it has to do with the fact that right now we are in the middle of this very revolutionary Black Lives Matter movement. And so, that is on my brain, and that is skewing my reading. But I do feel it's a very important message, and I feel like fighting for justice, going for justice, for fairness, and this is different for everyone. How you define justice, how you define fairness, will be different in your own life, in your own circumstances. Okay? But then we have the Four of Coins. And the Four of Coins is, it can be perceived as setbacks, but it can also be perceived as growth. So we have, this little shelter out in the wilderness here. And how do you perceive that? Do you see this as lack? Or do you see this as abundance? There could be no shelter there. There's stuff in there. They have belongings. Perhaps they have food. They've got shelter. But it could also be very much an opinion of lack. Maybe this, for some of you, you may read this as homelessness. Other people may read this as, a backcountry camping expedition. And it's interesting with the Chariot and the Justice card, it's very much a message of perception. How are you perceiving your world? How are you perceiving situations and events? How can you be kind to yourself for your own circumstances? It's not about negating what is happening to anyone, but the first step in moving forward from any situation is accepting where you are. And I really do feel like you need to accept that line in the sand. I'm not putting privilege into that statement. Every single one of us is somewhere. And we all need to accept where we are in order to grow and evolve as human beings. This could be, taking it out of the current circumstances and away from the current circumstances. Say you're in school and you're struggling, okay? You got, say, a D on your last exam. That D, it happened, it's where you are. If you say that, oh, I didn't actually get that D because I deserved better, the teacher was unfair, whatever. If you make excuses for that, you're not accepting that that is the current circumstance, okay? But if you accept that current circumstance and then you make a plan for how you can move forward, which again, this is what the Chariot is. It's about moving forward. So if you can make that plan for, okay, so this is what happened. I messed up. I didn't study hard enough. I overslept my alarm and missed a very valuable class. This is what happened. I'm accepting this as my situation. How can I move forward? Okay? That accepting of the circumstances, it's not accepting to remain there, but you cannot move forward without accepting and realizing where you are. Okay? Even as just another example, I went for a really long walk just before I filmed this because I needed to clear my mind. I needed to get out into nature. I needed to, just be. And at one point I kind of looked around because I wasn't really paying attention to where I was going. And I was like, okay, where am I? right? Like, 'cause I was just walking. I was just going. And I could have just kept going, oh, I'll find my way. I don't, I'm not lost. But by me stopping, getting my bearings, admitting, I'm lost, was the first step in me being able to find my way back, right? I was accepting that I wasn't quite sure where I was. And by doing that, I was able to take the steps that I needed to, get home. And I do this quite often. I was just in my neighborhood, but my neighborhood is a brand new neighborhood. The house that I live in is only a year and a half old. And in fact, like, the field across the street from me will eventually be something, but it's still a field. So my neighborhood is constantly changing. So I had walked down that street before. I had walked down that street numerous times. But the last time I walked down that street, it was not full of houses. And then all of a sudden, I don't recognize where I am because the world has changed around me and I hadn't changed with it. Okay? So it's just accepting that, yes, things change. Accepting that circumstances are always shifting and changing and developing in new and exciting ways. And for us to move forward, to find the life of our dreams, the perspective on life that we ideally want, the fairness, the justice, however you want to phrase it, you have to accept where you are so that you can put into place a practical plan. You can put into place an idea, a thought to get to where you want to go next. Because again, everything starts with a thought. And if you don't take the time to accept where you are, you can't create a thought that will move you forward in the direction that you want to go because you don't even know where you are. Okay? So you have the cards of compassion and progress. Compassion for yourself, compassion for your situation. Again, it is not about accepting and staying stagnant where you are. It is about accepting where you are, being compassionate towards yourself, and then moving towards progress. But we've got this ladder on this card here, right? The only way to get to the top of the ladder is to take that first step, okay? If you don't accept that you're at the bottom, you won't even take that first step up. If you are down at the bottom here, but you are living in a delusional world where you think that you're already at the top, trying to take a step to that top rung of the ladder is going to not lead to the desired outcome, right? But if you accept that, yes, I am at the bottom of this ladder, and if I want to get to the top, I need to take this step, and then that step, and then that step. Okay? But having compassion for yourself the entire time, compassion for the circumstances, compassion for your thoughts. You have to remove judgment from this situation. Justice also talks about fairness, and you have to be fair to yourself. Things in life happen that you didn't ask for. You didn't ask for your parents. You didn't ask for the place that you were born. You didn't ask for the time frame that you were born in. You didn't ask for any of that. That's just how you were born, right? You can't be mad at yourself for this situation that you cannot control. But you can accept it and you can move forward and create the dream life that you deserve, that you want. Okay? And then we have the card of prosperity lies ahead, new moon in Taurus. Yeah. Prosperity is an interesting topic, right? Because we started talking off about this card. This could be lack. This could be someone who is homeless and this is their house. Or this could be someone who is actually very prosperous and took the opportunity to go out into the wilderness, to experience life in these conditions in order to grow and to progress in life, right? It's all about your perspective. So that is your message from your fairy godmother. I feel like the most important takeaways for you, pile number 2, is fairness, is compassion for yourself, and for accepting where you are in life, and on such a grand scale, not just where you are in the world, not just where you are in your community, but even just the little things, you know, accepting the little, you know, you're hungry. Here's an example. So you're hungry, right? You have to accept that you're hungry in order to go make food and to nourish your body. But you could just keep ignoring it and then not get the nutrients, not get the nourishment that you need to move forward, right? You need to accept every little thing along the way in order to progress and to move into a place where you feel like you have more control over the situation, where you have more, when you're behind the quote-unquote wheels of this chariot, right? Usually chariots are horse-drawn. I don't know what the term, I'm just thinking behind the wheel of a car, but I don't know what the person who drives a chariot would be called. But if you can get into that driver's seat, then you can control so much more than you believe to exist, okay? So that is your message if you picked this second pile for the Fairy Godmother pick-a-card. If you enjoyed this reading, I do post new pick-a-cards every single Monday. I would love to have you as a member of my YouTube family, so please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Love, light, and happiness to all of you. Have a fantastic day. Bye. Hello to those of you who picked pile number 3. While I get the cards set up, I would like to take the opportunity to ask you to subscribe to my channel. So, your message from your fairy godmother in this pick-a-card reading. First, we have the King of Cups, then the Three of Wands, and then the Two of Cups. Very interesting spiritual energy, manifestation energy, just a very cosmically aligned kind of energy I'm sensing here. With the Three of Wands here, this card is about manifestation. It is about creating. It is about opening yourself up to your desires. We have the King of Cups, who very interestingly is looking over here at this Three of Wands. He's sitting in his little, I don't even know what that is, vessel. Sitting in his little vessel in the ocean and just looking and watching you, the manifester, creating the life of your dreams. Now this is the King of Cups and we are talking about the Fairy Godmother, but I do feel like there's a lot of this cosmic energy kind of looking over you, providing guidance for you. With the Two of Cups as well, we've got a balance of energy. There's two people on this card. Right there. It's hard. It might be a little hard to see on the camera, but there's the two people. And it's this balance of energy. So I feel like these cards are actually this balance of energy between you and your fairy godmother. Now if we will go back to the beginning, we were talking about imagining your fairy godmother as being you. So it's almost like this is either a balance between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, or your human experience and your higher self who is outside of you. And I'm sort of leaning more towards the second. You may need to balance your conscious and your subconscious, but I also feel like you need to connect more with this higher self. And a lot of this connection needs to revolve around confidence and trust, understanding what you are capable of, who you are, and not just your physical being, not just the physical definition of you, right? So many of us define our physical body by actions we take. You know, what example come? So say you're having a bad day and you are procrastinating. Okay, you say, "I always procrastinate. I'm a procrastinator." No, you're not a procrastinator. You just procrastinate. You know, or even just, your physical body, like, "Oh, I'm overweight." No, your body just exists in a place where it has some excess fat, perhaps, right? But that's not who you are. That doesn't define who you are as a person, as a being, as an intellectual, as whatever, right? Like, we can walk. I mean, not all of us can walk. I am grateful that I am able to walk. But say you are able to walk. You don't define yourself as a walker. It's just something that you do, right? Does that make sense? I hope it does. Ultimately, it's about not defining yourself by your physical characteristics, right? Who are you beyond those physical characteristics? And you might not be able to put that into words. It's just who you are. It's the essence of who you are. So many of us try to label things, like, "Oh, this is my zodiac sign," which then describes how I am. Or, I'm carefree, I'm lovable, I'm this, that, and the other. It's just, again, these are just words that we use to help describe who we are and actions that we take. But does it really define who you are? So I feel like your message is really about understanding and connecting with who you are. You may not be able to put it into words. You may not be able to describe it to someone else. But I want you to feel that connection. Just feel it within yourself. Who are you? The card of repair and awakening. Very interesting. I feel like the repair card is talking about the story you've been telling yourself, right? This is you describing yourself as a procrastinator. This is you describing yourself as not smart enough. This is you describing yourself as whatever. The list of words that we use to describe ourselves is a mile long. But this next phase, this awakening, is opening ourselves up to the idea that we are more than these labels. We are more than this description, okay? And again, here in the middle, we have the Three of Wands, this manifestation card. We have the King of Cups looking on, and then we have the Two of Cups. These two energies connecting. Right in the middle, we have the manifestation. So it's like when we can observe ourselves from the outside, when we can observe our connection to our higher selves, when we can observe our connection to our subconscious, when we can disconnect from the ego-driven reality and balance these energies without that egotistical barrier in the middle, then we can open our eyes, we can awaken to so much more. But we have to start with repairing the relationship to ourselves, or with ourselves, I should say. You have the capability to be very powerful manifestors. You are powerful manifestors. Everyone is. But can you connect to the energy of the universe that is ultimately you? Because we are all one. Can you connect to that energy and allow yourself? Or are you blocking your own manifestations because you are not willing to repair, you are not willing to heal? Okay? Emotions are running high. Supermoon, they certainly are. Connecting to yourself, admitting that you have been ego-driven for most of your life, can be hard. Because, I mean, you hear the phrase, like, egotistical. Like, oh, they're egotistical. You know, they've got, you know, a big head. They're overconfident. They're narcissistic. Those kind of things. I'm not talking about that kind of energy. I'm talking about being kind to yourself, respecting yourself, loving who you are, releasing the hate, releasing the negativity that you have towards yourself, releasing the negativity that you have for others. Because again, if we are all one, if we are all interconnected in this universe, and then everyone else is just a reflection of you, then being mad at other people really means you're mad at yourself. So how can you connect with those emotions? How can you repair and move forward from this in order to awaken to a new level of consciousness, and a new level of being that will help you step into the manifestation power that resides within you? Okay? So that is your message if you picked pile number 3 for this message from your fairy godmother. You are being guided, whether you want to say it is God, Source, your fairy godmother, your higher self. You are being guided. You are one with the universe. You are one with Source, with Creator, with this higher level of being. You are one with them, but you cannot rely on hiding behind your ego and expect to step into this kind of energy. Okay? Emotions are running high. Emotions are not bad. Emotions are a part of the temporary human experience that we are living. But how do you respond to your emotions instead of how do you react to them? Okay? Reactive energy comes from hurt energy. It comes from energy that needs to be repaired. How can you repair your relationship with yourself to step into this? But just remember, that energy is you. What you are capable of already exists within you. You just have to find that balance. You have to open up that connection. But you are being guided. You are being led in the right direction. This person watching you ultimately is you. And they know what is best for you because they are you. It's about opening up to that possibility, repairing old wounds, and stepping into new light. Okay? So that is your message if you picked pile number 3 for this tarot and oracle pick a card. If you enjoyed this reading, please hit the subscribe button. I post new pick a cards every single Monday. Love, light, and happiness to all of you. Have a fantastic day. Bye.